Hello everybody, how's it going? Welcome back to Teens Read. Today I'm going to be talking about an incredible book series called Relevant Jack. It's actually a book series I read a couple years ago, but I just revisited it to kind of remember what happened and then read the third book, which recently came out. This book series is really incredible. So it's about a mine worker named Jack who goes off into kind of a side passageway. A mine worker on Mars. And he goes off into this little side passageway and goes onto a spaceship that is completely undiscovered, and he gets infected. And then the AI that is the ship basically converts his brain into a video game to try to distract the corruption, is what it's called. And it's basically this creature that devours entire worlds. And they need to distract the corruption in the video game, because that also distracts it in the real world. So the video game is basically, there's these towns that people live in, and then there are towers, and you need to get resources from the towers by killing monsters and by defeating levels, and you need to take the resources from the tower and feed it to the town. And that helps the town level up and become stronger. But you also have to be careful, because the corruption sends demons against the town. And if the corruption takes over one of the towers, then the tower gets converted to a dark tower, and all the monsters become stronger, and it's really difficult to take back the tower. So, there's difficulties with all that stuff, and so basically in the video game, the AI turns itself into a sword, so that it can kind of protect and communicate with Jack, and Jack needs to level up the sword by giving it other swords. So basically he combines it with other swords, and his sword becomes stronger. So it's a really cool premise on building up your town, taking over other towns, and that sort of thing. And Jack he gets this super powerful hero class from the AI who controls the world, but can't meddle in it too much, or the corruption will discover that he's fighting against him. But anyway. So Jack gets this hero class called Relevant, and basically he has magic he has basically dimensional magic, and he can hold as many items as he wants, which is really important because everyone else can only hold 16 items in their inventory. So when he goes into the tower, he can grab all of the items as opposed to just 16. And so he doesn't have to deal with choosing what items to bring back. Also, he brings in real-world ideas into the game. So he brings in the ideas that you can actually build things in the game. You don't have to actually use the crafting mechanisms to craft them. You can put a bunch of pieces of paper together and they become a book, rather than you have to become a bookmaker, whatever the term is in the video game. You don't have to become a bookmaker class. You can remain whatever other profession you want to be, but you can just put books together, or you can build walls by stacking rocks. And so it's interesting seeing how his real world ideas change the game for all of the NPCs. Because the NPCs, they just know how to play the game as it's intended to be played. So that's another really interesting thing. And I really love the mechanics of how this game works, or how the game would work. I'd love to play a video game like this in the real world, where you're trying to build up your own town, and you can take over other towers, and you climb the tower every day to get more resources to upgrade your town, and all that. So my favorite characters are Alt, which is basically his sword or the AI's name. The AI that helps him. ALT Alternus, I believe, is the actual ship's name, and it basically brought the corruption in from a different universe. But he's just really funny, and he's a really exciting character. And then I like Jack, because he's just kind of, like, always curious, and, like, everyone starts off disliking them, but then they start liking him by the end. And he just has a really interesting relationship with everyone. Then I like Lex, who's basically the second to main character. He's his girlfriend. She's his girlfriend. They climb the tower together to get more powerful. And so just the group dynamic between the two of them is really interesting. Another fascinating thing about the book is how the AI is able to kind of change the game's choices towards either being if it's about to promote a new hero, it can point it towards Alt can point it towards picking the strongest hero, or if there's a choice between upgrading the farm or the walls, Alt can kind of choose which one to focus on. So that's a really interesting mechanic, and in the third book, I believe, they go back and take over a dark tower, and it's apparently the first time that that's happened in history, and it's really interesting. So I would really suggest this book series. It's awesome. It's super enjoyable, exciting, and it's an all-around awesome book series. So, if you enjoyed this video and want to see more like it, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. And then leave comments down below if you have any other book suggestions for me or just want to talk to me about anything else. Thank you for watching.